Hi everyone, I'm Veer Mahajan, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a few linear equations with two variables, and I'm going to be solving all of these questions. Before I begin with the questions, let me quickly explain exactly what I'm going to do for all of these. So first I'm going to read out the question. I'm not going to write it down, but I'll just read it aloud. Then I'll form some equations, and after that I'll solve the equations using different processes like substitution and elimination, since these have two variables in them. And then after that, hopefully you'll have a better understanding of how to solve questions like these. There are a lot of different types of questions which I've tried to solve before, so I'll use some of those so that there's extra variety. Between all the questions, if you want, I recommend it. Like after I make the equations or after I read out the question, maybe you should try to solve it yourself so you can just see if you got it correct or not. So let's get started now. So for the first question, we have it's about ages. So Andrew is twice as old as David right now, and he is also 9 years older than David. How old will Andrew be in 2 years? So let's write the age of Andrew. So Andrew equals A, and let the age of David equal D. David equals D. So now we can write some equations. Since Andrew is twice David's age, that means that to make an equation, Andrew equals, we need to put 2D, right? Because when you multiply David's age by 2, then you get Andrew's age, not 2A equals D. And similarly, since Andrew is 9 years more than David, to be equal, David needs to be 9 years older. So D plus 9, David's age plus 9 is equal to Andrew's age. Okay. And now now what we notice is that A equals to 2D, but A is also equal to A. So these two are equal, which means that these two entire equations are equal. Since this is equal to this, this is equal to this also equal to this and this. So that basically this simplifies it. We don't need to do anything here. We just get 2D equals D plus 9. So this one didn't really need any substitution. We just figured out that since A equals A, we can just do this immediately. We didn't need to do anything special. And it's actually extremely easy. It is just one step to get this. And now when we subtract D from both sides, we just get D equals 9. But that's not the end of the question. There still we need to find Andrew's age in 2 years, not just this. So if David equals 9, Andrew is equal to 18, right? Because it's 2D, 9 times 2 is 18, or 9 plus 9 from this equation is also 18. Either way, it's 18. So Andrew is 18, but in 2 years, he'll be 20. So the answer is 20 years old. Okay. So if you pause the video in the middle of that, I hope you got 20. If you didn't, that's fine. Maybe you should just try some of these next questions, and just as you watch, you should understand these a bit better, and hopefully you'll be able to solve them in the future. So now let's move on to question number 2. A website sells gold memberships for $25 and silver memberships for $20. If 100 memberships are purchased, only gold and silver, and the website earns a total of $2,125, how many gold memberships were purchased, were sold? So let's call the number of gold memberships, so I'll just say number of gold equals G, and the number of silver equals S. Silver equals S. The total number of, this is the number of purchases, okay? This is the number of purchases, not the price. So the purchases is G plus S equals 100, since there were 100 purchases made in total. And now we'll go with prices, because the total money that they earn, this isn't purchases, this is money. So 25G, how many of these there are, how many gold memberships there were, plus 20S, and the reason this is because of this, how much it costs, right? Plus 20S equals $21.25. Now, for this one, we can use substitution, but that will just take long. Actually, I don't think it will take too long. But we can just actually eliminate by multiplying this top equation by negative 20. So when we do that, let me just keep on writing here. So negative 20G minus 20S, so see these two are the same, equals, when we multiply by negative 20, negative 2000. Okay, and notice that this is 20s and this is negative 20s. So if we add these equations, which we can do, it's allowed, these two will cancel out, like they'll just cancel out, and we'll just be left with a pretty quick equation. So when we add them up, 25G minus 20G, since we're adding negative 20G, that's the same as subtracting 20G, we get 5G minus 20 and plus 20. When you add them up, you get just 0. So 5G equals, when you add these up, 2125 plus negative 2000 is equal to 2125 minus 2000, which is just 125. Now let's quickly divide by 5. So let's just put this sign either on both sides, and I'll just keep on writing here. G equals 125 over 5, that's just 25. So that means that there were 25 gold memberships sold. And let's quickly check this since memberships. So let's check this. Let's quickly input it. So if that's 25, then silver has to be 100. I mean, sorry, 75 since because of this equation. So this works. It satisfies the first equation. But what about the second equation? What's 25 times 25? So 25 times 25, 1500 and 625. When we add them up, 5, 2, 1, we carry over a 1 and 2. So 2125, and this works. So that means that there were, this solution is correct. So there were 25 gold memberships sold. Okay. So if you solved this and you got that, good job. This one was a lot harder than the first question. If you didn't, that's fine. There's still 3 more questions to go. So hopefully you'll be able to solve a few of those. And don't worry, because you can. This is, even if you get it wrong, that's good because you're learning, and you'll probably not make the mistake a second time. So now let's move on to the third question. A math test has 30 questions worth either 3 or 5 points. If if the test is worth 100 points in total, how many 3-point questions are there? This is actually very similar because, and I'll show you why. You should see this equation. These equations should look kind of similar. So the number of 3-point questions, so 3-point. Let's just call this T for 3, and number of 5-point questions, so 5-point questions equals F. So first of all, we know that there are 30 questions, and these questions are either 3-point or 5-point. So that's T plus F equals 30, and 3T plus 5F, since this is about 3 points, and each of these is worth 5 points. So when you add this up, you get 100. So now there are, of course, a few ways to solve this. We can use substitution, or we can use elimination. So let's use elimination for this one. So which one should we eliminate? Well, what do we need to find? We need to find the number of 3-point questions, right? Which is this. So there's no need to eliminate the 3's because that will just make us solve for F, and then we'll do it, and then we have to do that. So let's just eliminate the F and then solve directly for T. So to do that, we'll multiply this numerator, not numerator, the first equation, the top equation, by -5, so that this becomes -5F. So -5T minus 5F equals -150, sorry, -150. And now when we add these equations, the 5F and -5F, when we add them up, that's 5F minus 5F, which is nothing, and 3T minus 5T, that's just equal to -2T. These, as I said, are nothing, equals 100 plus -150 is equal to 100 minus 150, which is -50. And now we can just divide both sides by -2, and then we get T equals 25, right? The negatives cancel out, so this becomes 50 over 2, which is 25. So that means that the number of questions which were 3 points are worth, there were 25 of them. Now let's see if this works. Like, just quickly check. If T equals 25, we can just use the top equation. F has to be 5. F has to be 5. Does this work? 25 times 3, that's 75. And 5 times 5, since there are 5 of these, and there were 5 points, that's 25. When you add them up, we do get 100. So then we know that this is correct. So the total number of 3-point questions which are on the test, there are 25 of them. So again, I hope you were able to solve this one on your own, but if you want, that's fine. You probably won't make any mistakes again, and you'll probably get these sort of questions correct in the future. Okay, now let's go on to question number 4. A person's salary consists of a one-time base pay and a constant hourly rate. If the person works for 12 hours, they get $660, and if they work for 3 hours more than that, they earn $810. What is their base pay? So basically, I'll just quickly write this down. Salary for hours X, salary in X hours is base pay, so let's just write B, base pay, and also the hourly rate, so like X times hourly rate, because that's X hours, so X times hourly rate. So if you didn't understand this, then this should help a bit. So basically what we want to find is the base pay, right, which is this part of it, and that means that these two will be added up since it consists of both of these. So we get, for the first equation, since they work for 12 hours, so that's 12 hourly rate, let's call the hourly rate H, so 12H plus the base pay, which is just B because B is for base, equals 660, I think. Let me quickly check. Yeah, equals 660. And if they work for 3 hours more than that, so 3 hours more than that is just 15 hours plus the same base pay, equals they earn $810. So how will we solve this? Well, when we can immediately subtract. Let's quickly rearrange it. Let's just imagine this equation is on the bottom. We can subtract this equation from the top equation. So I'll just write it all down then quickly. Plus B equals 660, just so you can see it. When we subtract this bottom equation, the B minus B is just nothing. 15H minus 12H is 3H. So 3H equals 810 minus 660, which is 150. So then if we now divide by 3, H equals 50. So they get paid $50 per hour. But we're not, if we just say this as the answer, we'd be wrong, because we're asked to find the base pay. So the hourly rate is $50. Now let's just plug this into the first equation. So 12H, which is $50, plus base pay. So let's input H. So 12 times 50 plus B equals 660. Now 12 times 50, this is just 12 times 5, which is 60 times 10. So 600 plus B equals 660. Let's subtract 600. And then B equals 60. So the base pay is 60. From the first equation. Now let's quickly plug that in here. If B is 60, we can subtract 60 from both sides. So we get 750. Is 750 equal to 15 times 50? Well, it is, because 15 times 5 is 75. That times another 10, that's 750. So this works, and that's why the base pay is $60. Okay. Again, if you solve this one, that's good. Okay, now let's do the final part of this, the last question. And it's, Roberto is swimming in a river. As he goes downstream, he travels 15 miles in 3 hours. As he travels upstream, it takes him twice that time. How many minutes does it take him to cover the same distance in still water? So, I've quickly drawn a figure over here. And this is basically the current. I'll just write R for the river speed, because that's what I'm using here. And this is his S. So let's just say that this is where he's going. When he's going upstream, he's pushing against the current, since the current is going this way, which is downstream. And so he goes slower. He goes at his speed minus the power of the current, because it's pushing him back at that speed. And when he's going downstream, he's going with the current, so he's going at his speed plus the current speed. And what we're asked to find is how long it will take him in minutes to go with when there's no current. So let's just write down some equations. We'll use S for his speed and R for the river speed. So when he's going upstream, that means that, let's start with downstream since that's the first equation that they've given us. 15 miles, that's always the distance, it's the same distance, they said that. So 15 equals, distance equals time times rate, so rate times time is distance, and this is the rate, okay? So I'll just write that, rate. And that's time, that's distance. So 15 equals whatever time he's taking. So when he's going downstream, it takes him just 3 hours. 3. And when he's going upstream, it takes him 6 hours, so 6. This is S plus R, and this is S minus R. It's written opposite over here, but like this is downstream. I'll just put this, and this is upstream. So just so you can see. Okay. Now we can divide in this equation. We can divide both sides by 3. So we get S plus R equals 5. And over here, when we divide by 6, we get 2.5 equals S minus R. So S minus R equals 2.5. Now we can combine both these equations, and when we do that, we get S. So we're able to solve for S when we do that. Let's add them up. So 2S equals 7.5, which is 15 halves. So what is S? Well, S equals 15 halves over 2, so 15 fourths. And remember, this is now his speed in still water because there's no current affecting him. Excuse me. So 15 times equals distance times, we're asked to find speed, right? This is just his normal speed, and then that's just what we need to find. But we know the speed now because of these equations. So this is 15 fourths. What do you need to multiply 15 fourths by to get 15? Well, 4, right? Because 4 times 15 fourths, the 4's cancel out. So you just get 15 equals 15. And you can divide by 15 fourths over here to see that yourself. And so then D equals 4. So that's how long it will take him in hours to do that. But we're not asked to find it in hours. We're asked to find the time it will take him in still water in minutes. So there's 60 minutes in an hour. So that will be 60 times 4, which is 240. So it will take him 240 minutes to travel the same distance. They said same distance, otherwise it would be different. But the same distance, it will take him 240 minutes. So if you were able to solve this, that's good, because this question I think was the hardest of all of them. If you want, then hopefully when you get a similar question like this, you'll be able to solve it because of this explanation. Just remember, these equations are probably the most important part. If you just remember this, then it's just going to be a simple enough equation. And I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something new. If you did, please consider subscribing and liking this video. If you think other people might be interested in this, if other people might want to learn math, please give them a link to this video or this channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.